Hello, everyone. Our guests today are very familiar faces and voices of our community. Both are active members of our club who grew up in the Jacksonville area. They are passionate travelers, huge Jaguars fans, and are both successful in their respective careers. They are devoted parents whose family, including their children, have volunteered countless hours of their time to the Ramallah Club. They are driven by time, purpose, and passion. We welcome Andy and Teresa Akel to this episode of Hear Our Story. Welcome to Hear Our Story, the podcast where first-generation Palestinian voices take center stage. I'm Elias.
And I'm Janice Farhat.
Together, we're sitting down with family, friends, aunts, uncles, and yes, all your cousins too, so we can share the rich, complex stories of growing up between two worlds, the land that gave us life and the one that lives forever in our hearts.
They are not just our stories. They're stories that will feel familiar, maybe even like your own. So grab some coffee, get comfortable, and let's dive into these conversations that are as enlightening as they are entertaining. Welcome, Andy and Teresa. It's great to have you both. It's tradition for us to start with your family roots. Can you each tell us your parents' and grandparents' names, your hamula, and the story of how they came to the States? Andy, I'm going to start with you first, if I may.
First, I want to thank you for inviting us. I think this is a wonderful thing y'all are doing.
Thank you.
And here we go. So my parents are Saeed and Suad Akel. My grandparents are my father's side, Yaqub and Khadra Akel. And my mother is Ibrahim and Bahia Akel. The hamula is Dar Ibrahim. So in 1948, the war started, and for my grandfather to protect his kids, he sent them to Spain, and that's where they went and lived there for probably 6 or 7 years. And at that time, his brother, Musa, he came to the United States on the bear. Basically, he's a peddler, basically.
Sure.
So my father went back to Ramallah, to his parents, and that's when he met my mother. They got married and then came to Jacksonville. And that's how basically they ended up in the United States. During that time, they went to California, Ohio, because he had sisters living there. And basically, he didn't like living there, so he moved back to Jacksonville because his brothers were in Jacksonville. And that's where he stayed and raised a family.
Wow. That's amazing. And when you said that your father sent his father sent him to Spain, it was to avoid the draft.
It was to avoid the draft and protect the kids.
Wow, that's amazing. We don't realize that I think a lot of people are under the assumption that when people leave Ramallah, they automatically go to the States. Right. And what people don't realize is they went everywhere. Yeah. They went wherever there was availability. So
it was closer.
Yeah, and probably easier at the time.
Probably easier at the time.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Teresa?
My parents are Murad and Ida Farah. My grandparents on my dad's side are Ziada and Bahia Farah. And my mom's parents were Janice and Jalila Shanara. I am from Dar Ibrahim. My mother is from Dar Janice. My father was actually born here in the States. My mother was born in Ramallah. She came to the States when she was 7 years old. She did not know a word of English when she came to America. And her teacher in school stayed after school every single day to help her learn English. That's a story she used to tell us all the time. She said, I didn't know anybody. I cried every day. I couldn't communicate with anybody. And my teacher stayed after school every day with me to teach me English. And that's how she learned.
What a beautiful story. I would have never known that about your mother. She was fluent, and I would have never thought that at all.
Yeah.
What a beautiful memory. Your mother was a beautiful soul. God rest her soul.
Thank you.
One of the more popular questions our guests like to discuss is the upbringing and also navigating between two worlds. Was there ever a struggle between growing up in America but also being raised as an Arab? Teresa first.
There was a little bit of a struggle in my household. I remember my parents constantly telling me all the time, there are just certain things we just don't do. All my friends got to go out as late as they want. They got to spend the night at their friend's house. They used to ask me all the time, come spend the night with us, or, let's go to the football game, or let's go here or there or whatever. And my parents' answer was always no, or, unless my brother was with us. If I was going anywhere with my brother, then everything was fine. I could stay out until all hours of the night.
That's so much fun. Take your brother along everywhere. No offense, Greg, but yeah.
It didn't matter,
Yeah.
because he was there. He was my protector. But, as a child, they used to just tell me all the time, there are just certain things we don't do. And I find myself telling my kids that, my daughter especially.
Yeah.
Anna, there are just certain things we just don't do.
Mm.
So
Kind of history repeating itself in a different way, isn't it?
yeah, that's our culture.
Yeah.
How about Andy?
Basically, it wasn't too bad for me. I'm a boy, so the boys were a lot different.
Okay. Are you listening to this, Teresa?
I mean this in a
Are
bad
you
way.
listening to this?
Just,
Okay.
it just
Alex? Okay, go ahead, Andy. You have the mic.
my mom and dad were basically from overseas. Her parents were, one came very young, one was born here. So it's a
Yes.
lot. It was different, but not. She was a girl, so that was different as well. But for myself, I was a boy, but we still had restrictions. I mean, this spending the night in other people's home. I mean, why? I mean, you have a home, you have a bed. So why are you sleeping at other people's home? I just don't understand that. So that was an issue. Basically, staying out late. I had to sneak in at times, stuff like that. My mom always had my back. She would let me in the back door, where my dad was more strict. You don't need to go out and stay out late. And, that was the biggest thing. I mean, that was the challenges, and some of my friends didn't understand all this, just like for breakfast, we would eat a full breakfast. You would eat eggs and grits and bacon. And I asked my friends, what did y'all have? We had cereal. Oh, Mom, I want cereal. No, you can't have cereal. You can have eggs, bacon, and grits. Cereal was like a weekend thing, as a special thing. We never, certain foods
It's a
was
startup.
more than-
Yeah,
yes,
cereal's a
yes.
startup. Yeah.
So that was the biggest thing. I mean, values that I learned from, my parents is, work hard, save money, invest, as the years went, save your money. That was the biggest thing. Save your money, put it away for bad times.
Yeah, of course.
So, yeah.
Can you both share the earliest memory of you growing up in the community and here at the club? Andy, you go first.
Okay. So, I wasn't in the club. I wasn't in the club as much when I was younger.
Okay.
I went through a phase where I was kind of just did whatever. I was not really involved with the club. My father really worked hard when we were young. He had a grocery store where he worked 7 days a week. So it was, my mom had 3 kids, and it was hard for her to, come to the club by herself, and she didn't want to without her husband. So we basically didn't visit the club as much.
Sure.
Now we did do, picnics,
Sure.
stuff like that. So we had fun with that, and we visited the club. We had weddings here, and we enjoyed it. But, one of the memories of the club, is I've heard this before in another story, is the phone.
Yes.
I mean, and I was telling my son about this earlier today when I was kind of talking to him about this list, and he was laughing about the phone. He says, "What phone?" I said, "You don't understand.
Yeah.
We had the longest, this special cord was made for us.
Yes.
It was the longest cord in history. I mean,
If you are of a certain age, and some of the listeners out there will know of this phone, but if you are of a certain age, you will know of this phone. Alex does not know the phone.
I have not seen it in person.
Teresa knows of the phone.
I've heard stories.
Andy knows of the phone. Alex is too young to know the phone. But
somebody
yes.
calls for somebody, you scream it out, you
Yes.
pass it down, and
Yeah.
you hold this phone.
Yes.
And, so
Yes.
that's a big, huge memory that I
Yeah.
have. Another one is, coming to the picnics and having the chicken and hashwa.
Mhm.
Every picnic is the same thing. And then the social part of it.
Yes.
The social part of it was
Yeah.
great. You get to see people get to know you. And this is a lot of things that I've done to change that, moving forward.
Of course, yeah. To clarify anybody that has confusion about the phone, okay? Because we do get a lot of questions about the phone. Someone else has brought this up. The phone was this community phone outside both the ladies' and men's restroom. It was a community phone that was on the wall with the cord that wrapped around the club literally 100 times. And it was a community phone that you called whenever anyone was looking for someone. And you called the phone, you rang, you answered it. Anybody that came by answered it. Nobody, was in charge, but somebody would answer it. You'd say Ramallah Club, and it was usually a child looking for a parent. And you'd say, can I speak to my mom? And who's your mom? And you'd go find the auntie. You'd put the phone on top, the receiver on top, no, don't hang up, and then your mom or your dad would come pick it up, and it was the community phone. So,
And I'm going to add to that, Janice.
yes, please.
If I'm not mistaken,
Mm-hmm.
I think the phone number was 904-733-5211.
I think you're right.
He's right.
Oh, man. Teresa, bonus
Everybody
points.
got
That's
number. That's
awesome.
amazing.
That is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay, so I have lots of memories growing up in the Ramallah Club. I was here all the time. I do remember that when I was in the youth club, we had over 100 members. I don't know if you remember that, Janice.
I do.
We did. We had over 100 members. Some of the things that we did, we took a trip to Busch Gardens in Tampa.
Yep.
We did fashion shows. I remember the club putting on fashion shows, and they would get the kids and the younger people to model in the fashion shows. We did cultural things, like they taught us one time, and we put on a show how to sing the Arabic national anthem, the Baladi.
Mm-hmm.
I remember learning that. I still remember just a few words. I don't know the whole thing, but I do remember some of it. But things like that. There was definitely a great group of people that was in the club when I was growing up.
That's wonderful.
Awesome. Can either of you offer advice to first-generation Arab Americans based on your own upbringings? Teresa first.
Well, my advice would be to always just put family first. Family is the most important thing. Friends come and go. If you're lucky, you might have friends for years and years and years that you might be childhood friends with and still be friends with today, and that's very, very good. But family will always be there through the good and the bad.
Very nice. Andy?
I don't know how to top that, but basically,
It's a good one. Yeah.
Family's first. You want to stay close to your family. Listen to your parents. You think they do not know anything, but they do. They've had a lot more experience. Stay involved with the club. Your extended families, they got your back. That's huge, So, that's something I preach to my kids. I didn't have that experience as a young kid, but I'm really pushing it to my kids. And I want them to be involved. I want people to know who they are. For years, people didn't even know who I am. I've had people say, when we first got married, Teresa and I, they didn't know I existed. They knew my middle brother, my younger brother, and they didn't know me. So, I hopefully I made up for it in the last few years.
I think everyone knows you now.
I think, yeah, you have made up for it.
So I'm here.
I would say so.
I'm here to stay.
There you go.
Yeah.
Very
Wonderful.
So,
We're glad to hear it.
Yes. Let's talk about your commitment at the time and your time at the club. You both grew up in the community, but really made a strong commitment a few years back to start dedicating a significant amount of time to the club. Teresa, you've served as an officer for quite some time. Andy, you've served on the board. You're sort of the de facto manager, club manager, along with Isa. You chuckle, but it's kind of true.
It is very
Alex,
true.
yeah.
It is absolutely true.
Yeah. You've both served on multiple fundraising committees, Spin and Win, Casino Night, and of course the Capitol building and the extraordinary naming rights campaign donation. Was there a shift that you both went through that caused you both to pause? Was it an empty nest time in your life that allowed you to have some free time? You have 3 children. That takes up an enormous amount of time. What was the shift? Teresa?
I would say it's a little bit of all of that. Our kids were away at school. We did have a little bit of extra time, if you want to say a little bit, but we did have some extra time. But more importantly, what it was for us is that we realized our kids were not engaged in the club, as engaged as we wanted them to be. We want them to be around our people. We want people to know who they are. So we decided that we were going to become more involved to set an example for them, because we figured if we set the example, then they'll follow.
Okay.
And we encourage them to not only attend functions here, like every time there's something, we tell them, we should go, but also to volunteer their time, to chair functions if they have, the capability to do that, depending on what the function might be. So, we want them to help out when they can and socialize with young adults their age and get to know more people their age and go to conventions and, be with our people. So.
And it's working.
Yeah,
It's
for
working
sure.
beautifully.
Yeah, thank you. Great answer. Andy?
I don't know how to top that. Why does she have to go first?
Seems to be a theme.
She copied my whole list here. So it's the same thing. We want our kids to be more involved. Like I said before, I wasn't as involved, and I think I missed out with a lot. So I want my kids to be more involved. We push them, and we don't have to really push them too hard. But sometimes, we say, look here, go and hang out. Come to a picnic. You don't have to stay long. Just show your face.
Yeah.
Let people know who you are.
Right.
That's a big thing. Andrew, he goes to school here, our oldest, and people have gotten to know him a lot more because our other two, they're away in college. So people know who he is now. I mean, they love him. I mean, everybody talks to him, and from older to younger. I mean, he's put a good name out there, and people have gotten to know him, and I think that's very important. And when my other two kids come, I'm going to do the same. I like to do the same thing.
No, they're great kids.
Yeah,
they're great kids. Yes.
And they'll be home in May. They graduate in May.
Yes.
So they'll be home and they'll be around more. So.
Yeah. No, that's wonderful. And it's interesting, the dynamics, because Teresa says she grew up in the club and it has stayed with her. And Andy said, well, I grew up in the community and I came to events, but I didn't really actually grow up in the club. So these two kind of made a commitment, like, okay, this is my path. This is my path. Let's make a decision together so that we do this together. So you both made a commitment together on this.
Exactly. I mean, that's, it's very important. I mean, like Andrew, he's enjoying club events, and he's actually chaired a dinner.
Yes, he has.
Him and my nephew chaired a dinner one night, and for one night, and I think that was great. He was involved, and he was a little scared, but he did a good job
through it. Yeah, he did a great job. And I mean, your kids, they go to college out of town, but I've seen them. I have seen them drive in from events. I mean, Teresa, we've kind of joked, like, your kids are coming. They're driving in from Miami. I'm like, now? And they're like, oh, yeah, they'll be here in 3 hours. This is how they do
They're driving in town for Spin and Win.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic.
Amazing.
Yeah,
Amazing.
I mean, they will come. They will make the effort, which is commendable. And you set the example, like you said. So bravo to both of you.
Thank you.
Yes. And if all that isn't enough, Andy, you're now involved on taking on another capital campaign, the Social Room Project. Would you like to talk about this?
Yeah, I don't know how I got involved in this, but here it is, So we have this back room. It's called the Social Room. Right now, it's a lot of retired men that go back there and they play cards and they smoke cigars and they hang out and, drink coffee. And they have a good old time. It's outdated. It needs to be more updated to attract a younger crowd. So Joe Hassan and I, we basically are spearheading it, and we have a group that we're all working together to do this, to update the back room, make it more attractable to younger people with a lot more TVs, a little summer kitchen, get some bright and nice colors, and we're hoping that at that time the younger crowd would come and they would hang out. Right now, the way it is, a lot of women do not basically visit the back room. This is for the men. It's not for the women, but it's for everybody. So we're going to go on there. We're going to update it. We're going to fix it up, and hopefully it'll attract the young people. They could watch football. They could watch the Jaguars go to the Super Bowl, and have a good time and just hang out, cook some burgers. I think that'll be a good thing.
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Could you talk about the funds, how the funds are being acquired?
So we're basically right now, we did drawings. We're waiting on the funds. We're basically getting sponsors to do the funds. Hopefully, we could have something done by the end of this year. So we're doing an ad book where people could basically put ads in there for their loved ones or a business, and we're trying to create funds that way.
What's very exciting about this, I think, is that we're not really asking the club for money. This is going to be completely sort of a gift from the elders to the younger generation.
Correct. Yes,
which is really exciting.
Yeah, we're not asking the club for any money. We're basically going out to businesses and family members and friends and asking the money that way. Yes.
It's very exciting. Really, really exciting.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've seen the drawings. It sounds incredible.
It's beautiful. Once we obtain all the funds, and then we could start within 60 days.
That's wonderful. So you're very clear that you will not start until all the funds are collected.
Yeah, we have to have all the funds collected.
Okay.
Correct.
Very good.
Yes.
And you could start within there, and then it's full speed ahead.
Full speed ahead. It shouldn't take more than about 90 days to complete it.
Wow.
And we're hoping to have it done by the next installation dinner. I think it'll be
very nice. So we've talked about your 3 kids, and we've talked about how you've raised them in the club, and you make sure that they stay engaged culturally. Do you feel that they had the same social pressures that you both had growing up? Or is it different for them today? Teresa, you first.
Personally, I think their social pressures are actually far worse than what we had growing up because society today is just different. And with everything going on in Palestine, I think, people are more aware of the cultural background. So that makes it more important that we instill in our children all of and educate them about our culture. Our kids, personally, mine and Andy's kids, we know that they should always be respectful of their elders. They help us around the house. They call their grandparents to check on them, things like that. When I'm in the kitchen cooking and Anna is at home, she's usually right there with me learning how to do, not just regular everyday dinners, but I'm trying to teach her the Arabic stuff as much as I can. My mother had 50 years experience on me, so I'm trying to catch up to what my mom had and teach my daughter, some of those things. So, as far as social pressures, I just think, we need to teach our children more so today than ever, just because of everything that's going on in that region.
Mm-hmm.
So,
good points. Andy?
Yeah. So she covered a lot, but, so we're more lenient. We were born here. We're not as strict as our parents was. So that makes a difference.
Yeah.
So, of course, for the boys, but there's one thing different. We have a daughter. I'm a lot more strict on my daughter, and she hates that, but I'm more strict. But when she's hanging out with her brothers, I'm not as bad. I don't mind them, but I'm more lenient. She could go out. She spend the night with her friends. Selected friends, not just anybody.
Very
few.
Selected
There's only like
friends.
2 friends that we let her spend the night there because we know their parents, and so that would never happen when I grew up. I mean, if I had a sister, that would even exist. So I felt like we are being a little more lenient, but we're still strict. I mean, with like Teresa said, about if they go out, where they're going, who they're going out with.
Yeah.
You have to be home at a certain time, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So
curfews, certain. I mean,
there's
of course.
curfews, and so I mean, we get them involved with the club. They've been in the youth club, the youth group for many years.
Of course.
So they finally went to college. So that's been great. Club events, we ask them to come to involve themselves with club events and picnics and stuff like that. So they've helped in the kitchen in the past. So I think I mean, it just. But you have to handle it differently. But like Teresa said, the socialness is different. I mean, back when I was younger, we were able to just go out and run the streets. I mean, that's huge. I mean, they can't do that now. I mean, even when they were young, we didn't let them do that. I mean, we had to be with them every minute.
Different world.
Yes, a totally different world. Yes.
And with, all kidding aside, Andy, and with Teresa, with giving him a little bit of a hard time about the brothers versus the daughter. And, with your daughter being out with your sons, I'm sure you feel a bit more relief knowing that, your sons are with your daughter.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you should see them, how protective they are.
Yes, as they should be.
She can't go anywhere and talk to anybody without them glaring across the room or, coming up and introducing themselves. Hi, I'm Jacob. Hi, I'm Andrew.
They're big guys too.
Yeah.
I get calls from her all the time about that.
Yes.
She says all the time, can you tell them to stop, please? Yeah.
And they're like,
great.
well,
Yeah.
that's just the way it is.
Yeah.
I know. All right.
If someone asked you what stands out about being Palestinian, what would you tell them?
Basically, plain and simple, it's family. I mean, we're a close-knit family. We have each other's back. We do argue. I mean, even extended family. I mean, people talk about each other, but if something really happens, they got your back. I mean, they're always going to be there for you. Our traditions, our cultures, and our customs are very important to us, and we instill that in our kids, and they understand that, and that's important to them as well. We've noticed little by little as they get older, they feel it. So I think that's very important. But families, it's family. I mean, like Teresa said. Friends come and go, people come and go, but not family.
Well said, Teresa.
In addition to family, I would say pride. We are very proud of our customs and traditions. We have a beautiful heritage. Beside coming from a large extended family, sometimes American people don't believe us when we tell them, I've got 32 first cousins just on my dad's side alone, and then another 52 on my mom's side. So they just don't understand how we do things, even though you try to explain it to them all the time. I tell people about, weddings that we attend. Some of our friends that are, either American or different cultures or whatever, we went to a wedding this weekend and it was a 3-day affair and there were 500 guests, and they just don't comprehend that. They're like, what do you mean? Or a graduation party with 200 people at it. And, they just don't understand that. So we are very proud people, and
we're very lucky too.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Good answers. Can you both talk about your careers and how your upbringing may have influenced your career path? Teresa, heading back to you.
Well, when I was young, I'm sure everybody's probably already told the same story about growing up in a food culture. So when I was young, my grandfather had a pita bakery on the west side of Jacksonville that my father and his brother took over. The entire family was actually involved in that. My aunts, my uncles, grandparents. I have a picture of me in a playpen at my grandfather's pita bakery with my mother making baklava to sell in the bakery and deli part of it. So we were there all the time, everywhere. Then as we started to grow older, we were always in the deli restaurant part of it, doing something, clearing tables, taking orders at the cash register. We just learned that, you work hard and that's what you're supposed to do, like most other Arabs. Fast forward to the year 2000, after Andy and I got married, my father-in-law came to me one day and he said, you have a great personality. You would do great in real estate. So I went and got my real estate license in the middle of raising 3 children, all at the same time, because my kids are only 11 months apart. So I had a 1-year-old and then I had twins. So while we were raising our young family, I got my real estate license. And I've had it ever since. And it's paid off. It got easier once the children started growing, and, it got easier for me to schedule showings and things like that. Even while they were young, I remember having a home office and helping Andy with the commercial side of our real estate. Sometimes he would come to me and say, hey, can you type up this lease for me? And it would be 11 o'clock at night before I got in the office to do it, because I was feeding and bathing and, getting them ready for bed and school and making lunches and, things like that. So it just took off from there. We've just done real estate ever since. And, that's what we do.
Beautiful.
So when I was younger, I got in the food business, like a lot of Palestinians. I feel like most Palestinians are in the restaurant business, sandwich shop business. So I started the same thing. I started at a young age, and I did it for many years, probably 37 years, and did very well. I mean, I enjoyed it, but it got to a point that I was getting burnt out. So more so at the end of the years of the food business, I started doing some commercial stuff, some real estate, and I really enjoyed that. So about 12 or 15 years ago, I kind of made it and just made the switch. Got out of the food business completely and just made the switch to fully do commercial real estate. And I'm enjoying it. It's done very well. And Teresa and I both do it together. I do the commercial side. She handles the residential. We have our own brokerage firm. We've done very well, and we have fun doing it. And we have the freedom. And that's one thing you don't have when you're in the food business. You don't have the freedom. You're stuck in there. It's like you're married to that business.
Yeah, it's hard work.
And it would be hard to go back, if I had to do that again. And basically, what my parents, kind of pushed on me is work hard, save your money, let your money work for you, and basically you'll have a nice retirement. So that's basically what I did.
Very nice. Very nice. As we noted earlier, we know you both love to travel. Can you tell us what your favorite trip had been so far, and then a future destination coming up?
Well, we have something coming in 2 weeks, actually. We're going to Japan.
Wow.
Yes.
That's
So
amazing.
Love that.
Yeah.
after twisting some arms with Teresa,
Teresa, you didn't want to go to Japan.
She didn't want to go. She does not eat raw sushi. It has to be cooked.
You can eat other things besides
I know.
Once I
sushi.
realized that, I was on board.
That's
All right.
That's what I explained to her. So I put her some TikToks and I showed her
Yes.
all the little videos and all the people serving cooked food.
Yes.
And noodles and beef and different things like that. So after all that, massage that, we finally agreed to go.
Excellent.
We put together, we're going for 2 weeks. So that's going to be very exciting.
Wonderful.
Very exciting.
Amazing. What's a previous trip that you both really enjoyed?
Well, we've done a few trips and, there's really a few of them that I really enjoyed, but the best one is Lisbon, Portugal. I mean, we've enjoyed that. We went there. We didn't really know what to expect. It was part of a bigger trip, and that was our last 3 days, and we spent it in Lisbon, and that was beautiful. I mean, everybody was nice. It was a lot of English speaking. It was reasonable, and we just really enjoyed it. I mean, a couple others was Seville in Spain. That was beautiful. That was like, I never spent a lot of time in Ramallah, but I looked at that as being like Ramallah, very old school, people sitting around, drink coffee. And, another one was Malta. I really enjoyed Malta. That was beautiful as well. So there's a few, and we always have this one place we go to on each trip that we really liked.
Yeah. You're doing a lot of Spanish, a lot of Spain influence there, Andy.
Yeah. Well, my dad spent a lot of time there.
There you
so,
go. The connection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find any roots over there.
Right? Listen, you never know. You never know. Teresa, how about you? Any special trips that really stand out to you?
Well, actually, it was a surprise to us. We were in Italy. We were on a cruise, and one of the stops, actually 2 stops, the first 2 stops on this cruise were Dubrovnik and Split, Croatia.
Interesting.
And we got off the ship thinking, okay, what are we going to do in Croatia? What is there to do here? And as soon as we pulled into port and got off that ship, we were so surprised at how beautiful that country is. It's very modern. It is just gorgeous. We enjoyed those two ports very much. And then, we've done Italy, we've done Spain, London, Paris, all of that. We've taken the kids. We take our kids lots of places. But, they are starting their own lives now, and it's our turn for me and Andy to spend some time. So
Amen.
that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing.
If the kids are listening, yeah, yes, we'll enjoy Japan. We can't wait to hear all about it. Yes. And again, on a personal note, you just celebrated, I think you said, is it 25? It's more than 25 years, right?
We just had 25 in July. We're going on 26 this July.
Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
So who's going to talk about how you met?
We both have the same story.
Okay. All right. Who
This
wants
is a really funny story.
Okay, Andy, you got the mic. Go
Okay,
for it.
So, I have this Greek couple that, I've been friends with for many years. They call me up one night and it's like, we're going to this Greek festival. And this was back 27 years ago. So
Okay.
it was very small. It was in a small church in St. Augustine.
Okay.
So I was like, no, I don't want to go. It's not going to be fun. He said, you need to go. You're going to go one way or another. You're going to need to go. So I said, okay, let's go. So I get in his truck and we drive out there and I started having a good time. I met a lot of the guys. We were drinking beer, eating, snacks, and we were having a great time. So I get up to go to use the bathroom and there was Teresa with a couple friends. I'm like, hey, how you doing? We started talking and I noticed she was Arabic, just by looking at her, but I had never met her before.
Oh, you didn't know who she was?
No, I didn't know who she was. And so I said, hey, my name is Andy Akel. And she goes, my name is Teresa Farhat. I said, interesting. She's a Farah. And so I still didn't know who she was. So I go use the restroom, come back, and that was the end of that. I went back, hung out, had a great time. Next day, I called my mother.
To get the 411. Yeah.
I said, Mom, I met a Teresa Farah. She goes, what did you do?
Poor Angie sad.
She
Poor
really
Angie
said
sad.
that.
She automatically thinks
She really said that. I
my
said, Mom,
son. Yeah.
I did not do anything, but I met her. And I kind of liked her for that 30 seconds that I spoke with her. She goes, her mom is Murad and Ida Farah. I'm like, I knew the parents, but never knew the kids. And I didn't know who she was. And she has 2 siblings, a brother and a sister. Didn't know neither one. So, so basically I called her parents and asked them if I could ask her out.
Oh, you went old school.
Oh, my mom pushed me.
Traditional.
So I went old school, very old school, that I wasn't used to.
I was going to say.
But, Teresa was the first Arabic woman that ever dated. So there you go.
He was trying to be proper.
I was trying to be proper. So
It clearly worked.
I mean, it did.
So
you didn't know who he was.
I did not know who he was. And actually, part of that story he skipped is that night we did say hello to each other. That was the end of that. I didn't think anything else of it. And he called and asked for me to go out. I didn't even know he got my phone number. I didn't even know anything about it. And when he did call to ask me out, it was a 30-second conversation about, hey, this is Andy. We met at the Greek Festival. I was like, oh, yeah, how you doing? And we talked for maybe a minute. And he said, I'd like to take you out. Would you be interested in going out next weekend? I said, okay, fine, we'll go. And that was the end of the conversation.
When did your mom and dad get involved in the?
The next day, he called my parents and asked.
So
literally, we met on October 23rd. It was a Saturday, October 23rd, 1999. That's when we met. And we had our first date on October 30th of 1999. And we were engaged on Christmas Eve of 1999.
Impressive.
Wow.
Impressive.
Nicely done.
Yes. Very old school.
And we got married in July.
We were married the following July, and we've been married almost 26 years.
What's the song? Signed, sealed, delivered? Yeah.
On sea delivery.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah.
That's our story.
Yeah.
Her story.
That's a great story.
So it was by accident.
It was by accident.
Yeah. It wasn't one of those, I'm going to hook you up with my Arab son or my Arab daughter. Or,
It was a friend encouraging him to go to a Greek festival that he didn't want to go to.
Yeah.
I had no interest in meeting.
It was we met
Anybody.
by chance, and that was it. It just happened to be that we're both Arab, and it just happened to be that we're here today.
It is.
It just happened naturally.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah. Great story.
Wow. Now, as we wrap up, we want to thank you both for being here and sharing your stories with us. Any final thoughts you'd like to leave with us? Andy first.
First, I want to thank you guys for inviting us to tell our story. I think what you are doing is great, and I hope it goes on for many years. I think it's a great thing what you're doing, and I hope one day that my kids are up here telling their story. I think that would be the greatest thing, and I hope I'm around when they do that. So I hope they don't wait 40 years. So, we'll see, but I think that it's nice. I mean, it's very nice what y'all doing. And I've listened to everyone you had, and I think it's beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What a beautiful expression and what a wonderful wish.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Would love
Thank
to do
you.
that.
Yeah. I just want to thank you guys for having us. And I know it takes a lot of your time and your energy. And I know you're both very busy. So for y'all to be putting in the time and the effort, I thank y'all very much for everything that y'all do for the podcast and actually for our club. And, y'all put in as much time and dedication as many do. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
As do you. So
As
thank
do you
you.
both. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you for listening to Hear Our Story, a podcast dedicated to first-generation Palestinian Americans. Special thanks to the Ramallah American Club of Jacksonville and to the production team of Joy Bete Freha, Alex Elias, Janice Farhat, and Chris Varmond. Hear Our Story can be found on all podcast platforms. We look forward to bringing you our next story.